Hi everyone. Good evening. Happy Friday. How are you all? Thank you so much for bracing some of the rain, though it kind of calmed down a little bit now. But we're nice and cozy in the Wanda Coleman Theater. Thank you all for being here. My name is Ivan Salinas, Programs Manager here at Beyond Baroque Literary Arts Center. Saying a few words and welcome you to tonight's event. I want to start by acknowledging our presence on the unceded territory of the Tongva peoples. We stand in solidarity with indigenous communities who've endured colonialism and displacement, stand against genocide, and are committed to provide a space for artists and communities of indigenous descent as they are the original stewards of this land. This arts organization was founded in 1968 by George Sturdy Smith. It began as an experimental literary arts magazine and evolved into the interdisciplinary space it is today. You can learn more about this historical venue that is now 57 years old. Nonprofit organization has always been a space for artists and writers alike. And to keep up with our upcoming events, I encourage you to sign up to our newsletter. You can find all this at beyondbaroque.org. We'll have an exciting March. Among all the programming that we have, as early as today, we'll also have a new anthology out as part of our Pacific Coast Poetry Series imprint. The anthology is called Poetry Goes to the Movies, edited by poet Suzanne Lummis, exploring the relation between cinema and poetry. It features it features 100 poets exploring this, wonderful, magical, and complex relation between what is film and poetry and the language of images. We're having that book launch here on Friday, March 28th, with several of the contributors, including California Poet Laureate Lee Herrick and many other LA-based poets. This will be happening during AWP, where you can also catch Beyond Baroque in the conference at the LA Convention Center. We are part of two panels. One is organized with archivist Joanna Drucker, and that panel is on March 27th at 9 a.m. and will feature at least 3 other archivists talking about institutional archive practices at the academic level, as well as the independent level, like an organization like Beyond Baroque. There will also be a panel on Poetry Goes to the Movies that features Suzanne Lummis, Ramon Garcia, William Archula, and Ron Kurtigi. So that will be happening on Friday. There will also be several offsite events as usual. Those will be free. You won't have to be part of the conference. So you can meet some of your favorite writers. Be on the lookout for several events. Those happen at various spaces. But the one that I invite you to is the What Books Press and Friends event that features Beyond Baroque books, as well as Teachucha Press, What Books, of course, Walton Well Press, and a few others. El Martillo Press will also be there. So that will be happening at Telescope Studios on Thursday, March 27th, and it will be 6 to 10 p.m. We'll have tacos, drinks, and a whole lot of poetry. From Beyond Baroque, we'll have actually our associate director reading, Jimmy Vega, as well as Will Alexander, great surrealist poet, Shonda Buchanan. So come by to any of those. And if you want to know more details about any of that, feel free to talk to me afterwards or any of the staff members. We continue to offer our free Monday night and Wednesday night workshops, focusing on developing participants' fiction and poetry writing. For anyone interested in joining, you can also find more info on our website, or feel free to inquire about that at the bookstore with Genesis. For those of you who are members, we'd like to thank you. Keeps our space open and thriving, especially in these times where future funding is very fragile. And memberships also give you access to almost all of our events for free for an entire year, as well as perks and discounts at the bookstore and selected items, including merch. So feel free to inquire about that. Right now, if you get a membership tonight, we are offering a free complimentary book with that. We have Janet Hamill's story collection right here. Also has an introduction by Patti Smith. And a community LA-based poet and a contributor to the Poetry Goes to the Movies anthology, also Dorothy Baresi, great poet. Her debut collection, What We Do, What We Made, More Guns, is what we have available. Memberships start at the supported level, starts at $75 and gives you access to events for free for an entire year. If you are a student, it starts at $50. So take advantage of it and support the oldest literary organization in Los Angeles. Okay, without further ado, it's a great evening to have Hexentexte with us and all the great contributors of, a good lineup of the contributors of Hyena. And, I just want to thank Cindy Rehm for being with us and for allowing us to host these wonderful authors. So I'll pass the word to them and thank you all. Enjoy the show.
So thank you all for joining us on this chilly evening. I'm Cindy Rehm. I'm the director of Hexentexte, and it's a really great honor to be in this historic venue. And thanks to Yvonne and the staff here at Beyond Baroque for hosting us this evening. Hexentexte is a collaborative feminist project centered at the intersection of image, text, and the body. I founded the project in 2021, and we presented our first collaborative book called Dream House to honor the 50th anniversary of Woman House, which was a pivotal feminist artwork that was staged here in Los Angeles. Since that time, we have published artist-centered books and presented public events, including readings, performances, screenings, and most recently an exquisite corpse workshop that we did last weekend at Philosophical Research Library. Throughout my life, I have often heard the sentiment that we are post-feminist, that feminism is no longer relevant or important, and I've always disagreed with that sentiment. In this moment, it's obvious that we need feminism and female-identified voices more than ever, and Hexentexte is really committed to centering those voices. The most recent project is a collaborative blog called Knowing Bodies, which focuses on aging and the menopause transition, and we take submissions on a rolling basis, so if you're interested in contributing, I welcome you to submit your visual art and text to our growing archive. Last fall, we published our newest book, Hyena, which is here tonight. And this book includes over 80 artists and writers in response to women's surrealism. Last fall, in 2024, was the 100th anniversary of Andre Breton's Manifesto of Surrealism. And I wanted to do a project that really paid homage to the women of the movement who are still lesser known than their male counterparts. And the women writers and artists of surrealism have always been very personal to me. So we put out a call for artists who wanted to submit work in response to their work. I invited Adrienne Walser, who is a writer, to be my co-editor. I'm a visual artist myself, so the two of us worked together to edit the book. As I said, it's over 80 artists and writers, and this is a real intergenerational group, international group. So there's a real diversity of gestures. The title of the book, Hyena, is inspired by a Leonora Carrington short story, which is really more of a micro story. It's very, very short, but it's an incredible narrative of female liberation. And so if you haven't read that, I really encourage you to check it out. So themes that appear in Hyena are identity, inner life, ritual, eroticism, and relationships between human and animals, and hybridity. We have a wonderful group of contributors to Hyena who are going to read here tonight. And since there's a larger group, I'm going to forego reading everyone's bio. And we'll just direct you to the Beyond Baroque event page that has bios for everyone. And you'll see that they're all very accomplished. Also want to mention that during the reading, we'll be showing images from the book. So these are all visual artists who are included in Hyena. And if you're interested in learning more about any of these artists, you're welcome to talk to me after the reading. Also, on our Instagram, there's a post about each contributor, so you can find out more information about them there. So our order of readers tonight will be Danielle VonLehe, Larkin Higgins, Robert Nashak, Sarah Ellen Fowler, Deborah Meadows, and Adele Berthet. And before I turn it over to our readers, I just wanted to share a short manifesto that I wrote at the end of the essay that I wrote for Hyena. And this is a dedication to the Hyena we, so it could be to the Hyena we here tonight. We are rigorous in our feral nature. We consume the history of women with our mind and heart. We tend our mother's forest as we plunge the depths to uncover roots and monsters. We double the mirrors, we trouble the waters, we lift the veil. We shapeshift through gender and species, unfixed, untamed. Laughing from our mouth, we eat our own face. Muzzles red, we bleed into the night. Thank you. So I'll turn it over to Danielle.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Danielle, and my piece is called Who is Grandma Carol? A woman visited a public market where she came upon a reproduction of a painting she'd seen often as a child. The painting was of a dog, border collie shaped, who had encountered a lamb huddled on the ground laden with snow. The storm had just passed, leaving the landscape stunned and impersonal and about to become evening. It is unclear whether the dog fortuitously came across the stranded lamb on a walk, or whether it was sent by its owner to find the lamb specifically, or whether it was sent to find some other unfortunate lost animal, and it found this lamb, shown in the print, instead. Regardless of the way the dog happened upon the presumably lost lamb, although lost is an assumption, and the lamb might also have been deliberately left there to die. It might have been the weakest in the litter. It might have been one too many. The continuation of the meaning had to do with the dog's open mouth, its long and loud howl into the ravaged air. The dog is painted mid-howl, neck up, belly low in gestural cry. The space in between them has filled with atmosphere. Soon they will no longer be able to see or to hear one another. They will be left only to think toward the other, to imagine an urgent presence and the collapsing memory of their meeting. An unsure dialectic, the message of one or both, presumably lost in the wind of impending night, irrevocably preserved in a cheap reproduction found at a public market. The woman purchased the reproduction. She hung it on the wall next to her bed where she could easily see it in the moments of coming back together, consolidating the pieces that had been separated from her in the daylight. She tended not to think of it in the morning, though, that time of preparation for the coming dissimulation, the scattering. She purchased the reproduction because it was the same as the painting her Nana had hung on the back wall in the playroom of her double-wide trailer, next to another, different painting, also of a dog in mid-howl and also in a winter landscape. It was already night in the latter image, painted as cerulean, since, had the painter represented night as darkness, there would be nothing to see. The howl of the dog obscured in shadow, its charcoal fur blending with the air. In the distance, a village of timber A-frames were stacked in rows, and a single light shone from one of them, where surely someone was awake and listening for the cry. The cerulean painting interested her less, because she was less interested in resolution. Upon the death of the woman's Nana, she was bequeathed the painting from the back wall of the playroom, the one she had found the reproduction of at the public market, the one she'd loved. When she received this painting, she also received the multitude of forgotten hours spent looking toward it. She received the electronic organ with the multicolored keys. She received the memory of photographs above the organ, an unknown logic occupying the uneven spaces between their scattered frames. Here was cousin Peter, after his baptism, next to the statue of Mary who collected their pennies. Here, Peter's brother Paul with his cleft lip. She received her Nana opening the playroom door, and she received her Nana waving goodbye from the trailer porch, like W.G. Sebald when he found himself thinking how strange it is that no one since then has waved a handkerchief after me in farewell. She tapped a nail into the wall, and as she positioned the bequeathed painting next to the reproduction she'd found at the public market, she noticed her Nana's scribbled handwriting on the back of the image in the upper left corner, shakenly. Bought this at yard sale. because it was like the one Grandma Carol had. Thank you.
Take a little sip of water. Well, first, special thanks to Cindy and Adrienne for gathering this anthology together, and for everyone included within its pages, and for you wonderful people for being here in person and those in the virtual world, which I know are watching. And also grateful to Yvonne, Jimmy, Quentin, Genesis, Eric, everybody to do with Beyond Baroque. And before I read my first written diptych piece, I wanted to share that dreaming of being underwater, freely breathing, has been a recurring theme since childhood and seems to be ongoing. I also wanted to add that you probably all are familiar with the word cephalofoil, right? Yet, just in case, it's that characteristic appearance of hammerhead sharks, that lateral extension of their head, hence their name, hammerhead. So these two dreams are related by both being underwater. And here it goes. Liminal waters. Dream number 112. Your body is submerged in temperate waters. A hammerhead shark makes an entrance. You negotiate a collaboration. She, the shark, assesses your body's electric fields. You provide iron nails. Then both of you proceed to construct a rest-stop bench, since her hammerhead hampers her energy and you have been swimming forever. You are enamored by her useful cephalofoil, her wide apart eyes. The project is completed. To celebrate success, you share a crustacean. Dream number 113. Odd, an old molded plywood lounge chair nestled underwater on the sea floor. Its wooden practicality strangely fits. A silver canteen, oxidized, perched on adjacent side table. An eel slithers, swims between furniture legs. Deep under, water acts like a glaze, everything dipped in clear resin. You sit down, no trouble breathing. After all, H2O is part oxygen. The dream rationalizes. Sitting still among occasional undercurrent undulations, you encounter tiny specks of light. These grow like pupils in the dark, larger yet more luminous here, each attached to a tentacle tip. 100 crystal eyes, a bed of eyes, solid as eggs, opalescent. This last piece is a poem that also takes place underwater, and it's sprinkled with seaweed anatomy terms. I seem to like anatomy terms. Must have been that brief medical career, okay? And because I like sprinkling in anatomy terms because of their possibility to resonate in other ways. So the ones in here are stipe, which is what transports the nutrients of seaweed, blades, which does its photosynthesis, phallus, which is spelled Thallus, which is the entire seaweed body. That's the name for it. And hold fast, which is really what it says. It's the grounding. It anchors that root-like part of the seaweed. So anyway, but hopefully those terms might conjure some other things. Something approximately akin to gliding through. Body of and in water. This seaweed, its stipe and blades, undulating phallus, amber gloss teardrops as teeny bulbous floats, air-filled corporeal buoyancy, fronds plait, swimmers unfurling hair, waves, surges, meld the curling, jeweling her, hold fast, motions murmur and crash, emotions intermittent spray, ocean froth ascends across rocks, misty. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Adrienne. Thank you, Beyond Baroque, and thank you all for coming. This poem has its origins in my Fulbright year in Holland, where I first got to know this radical Marxist poet named Herman Gorter. And his poetry is infused with imagery from his lover's research. His lover was named Ada Prins, and she was the first woman to receive a PhD in chemistry in Holland. And her field was liquid crystals, which at the time was a novelty. People thought crystals had to be hard and rock. And so what I did was, for this poem, I translated her dissertation with my limited Dutch, with some help from an online translator. And then I went chronologically through the dissertation and found this poem. It's called The Lilac Region of the Flowing Crystals. He did not put mixed crystal theory in a bright light. It seems to me more correct. When the temperature cools down, the fluid shows a violet blue color, which disappears again when the crowd of isolated crystal individuals becomes total. Blue-white spots suddenly appear everywhere without a sharp boundary, streaks flowing, sometimes light, sometimes dark. He defended the proposition that the flowing crystals were nothing but knitted masses of solid crystals, enclosed by an oily liquid layer, immiscible with the mother liquid. In my view, what Lehman says seems to be incorrect, a completely false view. Lehman has not indicated how these facts can be explained in the light of the theory of human crystals. An attempt to do so has been made by me. The case of the lilac region of the flowing crystals. In the first place, paraplace, orthoplace, metaplace, no flowing crystals occur. Flowing crystals are inhabited by pressure, monotropy, turbidity, viscosity, the state of fastness. The point of clearing was first carried out by Schenck. However, Schenck never studied the whole concentration area. I have extended my research over the whole concentration area. In the following overview, I confine myself to bodies I could see microscopically. I found the temperature of clearness. I deduce the behavior, the lively movement each crystal assumes, the higher interference when color passes into modification with other individuals. Color effects vary greatly, depending on whether you work with striking or transmitted light. After standing for a few days in a vacuum desiccator over strong sulfuric acid, the highest temperature I reached was 180 degrees. I had extraordinary difficulty in observing and interpreting what I was seeing, despite months of experimentation. In fact, it was only after repeated observations purified by me that I arrived at a satisfactory explanation of the phenomena. The yellow crystals merge completely into the red ones in a continuous circular motion, secrete themselves in orange-red colored leaves, shine black, melt out in the form of light. Solid crystals, supercooled liquid descending, bluish crystal over yellow cooling further, brown, red, violet color beginning their performance, yellow-green color descending, blue-green color cooling down further, red. Thank you.
Oh my God, I love that poem. I'm glad I get to read after you. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Yvonne, and all the Beyond Baroque team. I'm just going to read three poems from Two Signatures, which is my book, and then I'll read the piece that's in Hyena. A postcard. The modern bull shark jaw with its blue shadow on a blue ground, but to the scale of my own jaw. What a smile. Have I swallowed enough? My will is my own water. Bracelet for who I was. Dusk blushed desert shirt thrown over the duct. Fastened still by the weight of shown stones sewn into inside cuffs. Just a prayer to notch gravity's bus. I had to apply my hands to something kind and my own and understood to be dross. Rest wings toward the gray days right above the tree line. Rest cannot dodge the many minds sharp in air, cannot sound, cannot envelop the lowest register of sky. I lie beside you. I have the water. I know what depth charge is strapped to the board you wield when you descend to dreaming. I pray its wire loop will not hold. Our bloody noses are synonymous. And we wear just one white Western with pearl snaps, yours and mine. One hand each, we move together as a vessel to cup the show of color streaming into yours, mine. It's the warmth of sunlit dirt, the blood pools at the snaps. What's collaboration? God gave you yours. A see-through garment, collar of devotion dressed down to red air. See-through garment, nipples, moles, spinal ridge, rage and all. I gave me mine, my own bloody nose, to feign, to pledge what? Say the streaming opens into open hands, welcoming body into abstraction, about which one mind makes blind pleasure of, and one mind crucifies. Thank you.
Nice to follow that, you know. Thanks, Cindy and Evan and the whole group here. Thanks for coming out, and happy Pi Day, too. So I did an erased version of Leonora Carrington's The Hearing Trumpet, a lovingly erased version, I should say. And this is titled The Earring Pet. Curved buffalo horn, fabulous letter, capable of being pleasant, famous Peruvian alpinist. I don't have to bite anybody. Robert took me roughly, semi-detached, cat hair in jars. We are elements of the landscape, except wait. Drawn by woolly dogs, better off in a home. He circulates on a motorcycle. Glamis, outer castle. She is bald. From American Cereal Company, she unwrapped the earring pet. Here, music, conversation, terrible news. Spy on your family, not allowed to like anything. Telephone directory, machine gun, automobile. You are fading away, a real window. With organized sports, we're testing acoustics. Sleeping potion against one's own store of vital fire. Crystalline sediment. Joan of Arc. Why was Eve blamed? Chain gang shanties, going to Lapland, nursery rhyme bungalows. I might write poetry, The Winking Nun. I was too preoccupied, snakes and ladders, HMS Thumbelina, the gambits, walls painted with furniture, boot, igloo, toadstool, libidinous fellow. She hears voices, souls with perseverance, at primary zero. Can cows be aristocrats? Through the stomach, 14 parrot stories, despotic rule. Port wine might be served, a small mutiny. Anything so enchantingly sinister, quite dotty. Bearded patroness of limbo, the red hen. Archaeological miscellanea. Plastic paint. Inner Christianity, American Episcopal jumble sale. Personality is a vampire. Footlight Company. Or was it glandular? She must be 60. What sort of gossip? You escaped. She is a sex maniac. Give truth serum. I will resign. All cats are psychic. I made some plans based on termite engineering. I'm never lucky on Sundays. Form, he said, was outdated and vulgar. I have my own little pet name. She has a power complex. I am going to read a novel. Mother had lived a constant round. Artists are immoral. They live together. I want to paint nude models. Surrealism is no longer considered modern. It hangs, I believe, in the throne room, sculpture called Navel by Hans Arp. Some people use cookbooks, magic, pretension in the kitchen, embalmed head, an interested spectator blinded in one eye. The hidden fudge they both gorged. Hardly seems probable, levitate over the altar. You must have read her name, Ointment. The book, A Wreath of Mermaids. Holy Coffin, The Earring Pet. Workings of her dark soul, Melancholia. Knowledge of herb, Witch's Brew. Scene of orgiastic dancing, convulsions, Queen Hatshepsut, somewhat abashed. I sought to discourage these excursions. I entertained the whole choir. A wandering bard has just arrived. She handed me my earring pet. We were playing at Boy Scouts. Lots of people enjoy smoking marijuana. It did not seem safe. Who lives in the tower? Old caps will melt. In certain respects, you have genius. Shakespeare said it went walking. Let's hope they all freeze to death. My earring pet I now always carried. All animals are friendly. Lilac limousine, 12 agitated cats, sulfur and brimstone. I met myself. Womb of the world, see through the dark, no sign of any soup. Knights Templar, After the atomic war, need my earring pet. Panic reigned, the wolf ran. His sister, a wolf-headed woman. All our family are artistic. All worked according to plan. Ice ages pass. Lapland must come to the old woman. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. So many great readers tonight. Thank you, Cindy, for including me in this compilation. I'm really honored. And as a surprise tonight, I want to thank Yvonne, is it? For bringing up, Janet Hamill, who was my mentor. There's a book available apparently here of her collected poems. And Janet Hamill is one of the most exquisite poets that I've ever read. She's a mystic. She's profoundly inspired by things beyond the veil. And if you have a chance and you want to take a look at her work before you leave tonight, take a look at her book. I do encourage you, because if you love poetry as I do, you're going to love Janet Hamill. So thanks for that. This is a poem called The Witch Bell. Once upon a circular time, behind a veil of stained glass, howls a human wolf, a she-wolf conjuring a mystery. Through a labyrinth of dreams of twisting, turning passageways where tongues of fire lead down alleyways that confuse and attract, like the Medinas of the Maghreb, Venezia, mandala geographies. These are the riddles of a woman's love, the mad women in the abyss, waiting for the ghost girls. Wolf sits on the steps of a church where inside an army of tiny mice anticipate the command. Soul absent of a sacred home, she has roamed in cities floating between sea and sky, where light on the water is sacred code of love and its sorrow, wishing for a new tomorrow. A mandala of spiders hovering above the firmament, where man's language will soon be impotent. Ceasing to screw the world up the ass, beyond the dope trance of the earth, beyond the realms of violence and despair, of poverty mind and war and famine, wolf contemplates the tongue of a bell, growing, a golden magic wand, gushing a waterfall of invisible ink. The mice gather to bathe in balmy dreams of a new world, new words, but first, the fire and the flood. Go forth and build us a temple of retribution, she howls, for the ghost girls are waiting. The mice, now invisible, scurry off to exercise their magic. Wolf awakens to the siren sound. Where is your wild heart? Down the alley, wolf blood, pounding beneath fur skin, prickling from the trail of a scent of a woman, a bull with one horn, black skirt unfurling, emitting a volley of notes that waltz on air. Wolf trails bull, turning the corner, the singing, the beseeching. Where is your wild heart? Wolf pins bull inside the hollow of a bell. She trembles there, the sound she makes a new delicious nectar of sweet invention. Wolf slips her hand inside where worlds dissolve and new stories shaping braille on wolfen fingertips. Bull feels each dot and bump rising up inside. Wolf moves the glyphs. I'll liberate your childhood house and free you from the prison of tales that don't belong to you, of man's representation. I'll cut off the head they gave you, and newborn you will be, Medusa of the dark flowers, the queen of herstory. I know how your sweet blood smells. I taste it with my tongue. I dance you into starlight. I dance you till you come clusters of stars, exploding fireflies. In network vein and blood, in belly, head, and heart, you come the fire and the flood that washes clean our world of all its misery and rage, and we shall breathe a new song all the hours of our days. Invisible army of mice invade the secret hall of hell's domination, crawling up the pants legs of the light killers. Some snip with teeth and bite, others chain them to mercy seats, pulling screens over the eyes of warmongering Ahriman, forcing them to watch holograms of their own children being tortured by the wars they revel in. Invisible ink fading, revealing mice as mad women in the abyss, laughing, dancing, birthing new worlds from the chaos of the light killer's death knell choir. Bull shiver shakes, emboldened by the fire. Inside the bell of liberation, she whispers, "Sing into my mouth the language of desire." And as mouths mix colored vowels of lips, of teeth and tongues, a music code is born, a wail, a song till now unsung. Bull rides ocean waves of blood while skin and bones convulse and worlds of hate, of lies, of wars dissolve into the dust. Wolf sings, bull sings, vowels that glow blazing hot with starlight, and glittering jewels and rubies red, all shining in the gaslight of minds who made them both believe their souls were never worthy of all their lifetimes had to give to ghost girls now arising. Dragonfly, dragonfly, dance. The mice, the mad women gather in the absence of sin. A coven shimmering in vapors of light, here, inside the witch bell, their holiness beckoning. Thank you.
Oliver.
All right, y'all. Yeah, feel free to hang out. We have snacks out in the lobby. There's also some book signing memberships. You can inquire about that in the book